Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Four Dads podcast with your host Tees and Don Julio. A lot that's happened over last week, honestly, but mainly, I think you tell me. What do you want to get into first?
I really, honestly, off the top of my head, I really want to talk about the Netflix special that's coming out, which is going to be the Formula One documentary versus Full Swing, and they're calling it the Netflix Cup.
I heard about that. Do you have any? Can you break it
I
down or
don't,
tell us about it? Because
I, I don't have any other information besides what came out, like that there's going to be a tournament. I just want to get your opinion on it. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the big announcement with TaylorMade winning over Red Bull Formula One driving team, and how they just came out with a huge series of like a Vessel TaylorMade staff bag with the Formula One or with the Red Bull Formula One logo on it, a driver,
Dang.
head covers, golf balls, towels, like bag tags, all this different stuff, even hats, like full on tour hats now. So I want to get into those two because I'm like, I know TaylorMade is always dropping new stuff, but it seems like TaylorMade is probably the best marketing company that anybody can work for.
No, I'm sure.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, when it comes to the Netflix Cup, the little I heard about it, I mean, I think it's going to be dope. It obviously depends on how much behind the scenes that we get to see of this tournament. You know, inside the ropes, inside the whatever you want to call it, where they don't allow fans to be inside. To hear their thought processes, kind of like a what do you call it? The preseason for the NFL. What do they call that? HBO Hard Knocks, kind of like a Hard Knocks, but
Yeah.
it'll also be how much of the players are we actually going to see them being their transparent self. You know, I saw yesterday or today one of the players for the Browns is like, oh, I'm mic'd up, and everyone finds out they're mic'd up, they act differently, right? You know, you don't want to be seen as somebody you're usually a little different than you are when people are watching, you know, or when you're compared with your boys. But it'll be really interesting to see how some people are with that, if it adds pressure, more people closer. I don't know. It'll just be interesting. I mean, if it's anything like Full Swing, I'm definitely interested. I'm interested regardless because it's another golf thing that we can watch. So, I mean,
Yeah. So I'm honestly thinking this is going to be Netflix's version of the match. This is going to kind of see how
okay.
it goes. That's
Okay.
what I'm predicting because if you look at the Formula One team that they have, right? They have Alex Albon from Williams Racing. They have Peter Gasly from BWT. They have Lando Norris, who we saw that him and Carlos Sainz, who is also on there, they're big golfers. When they were on the McLaren team together, they're big golfers. And same with Alex and Peter. That's like the one thing that they do to kind of escape the off season and the brutal training and the constant analysis or analyzing that they do of every course. Or I'm sorry, not every course, of every track that they race.
Yeah.
But then you can tell from the Netflix or from the PGA side, they got the guys that are like very social, right? Like you've seen Ricky Fowler and his yacht out at Monaco every year. Max Homa is always a really good competitor. It kind of makes me a little bummed out to see Colin Morikawa. I don't think that, I mean, just from the way that his interactions were on Full Swing, I'm like, dude, he's not all that. Like, get somebody else on there.
Yeah, no. There's definitely a lot of other people that you can get on there that would be a lot more entertaining for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, now, Justin Thomas, like for a guy who, hasn't been playing the best, he's definitely whoever his agent is getting him in everything. So I'm thinking this is going to be like I'm thinking it's going to be like the match, but I also feel like this is going to kind of be like the, how can I put it? Like the amateur social Ryder Cup. So I'm kind of interested to see, like, I mean, obviously all of these guys are scratch golfers, right? Plus threes, plus fours, plus fives, plus sixes, probably. And so I'm curious, like, are they going to give them strokes? How are they going to play it?
Mm.
Do they get to play from like a forward tee? Is there going to
Oh
be like a
man.
team match? Like a 6-6-6 where, each person gets paired up with a pro. They play against each other. They switch it out. Will it be like a skins game? Is it going to be more of like a St. Jude's kind of like, oh, if you make a birdie or if you get the longest drive, you put
Mm-hmm.
down 200,000 into St. Jude's or something, right?
Right, right,
Like
right.
I'm just curious, and also I think it's kind of cool that that Netflix is getting the streaming rights, but I hope it's not live. I hope it's like an actual like kind of
Well,
series
you remember
because
when Netflix had their first live event ever? Like it actually didn't even it like
yeah, for
crashed
Love
that
is
night.
Blind,
Yeah, it
yeah,
like
for Love is
crashed and
Blind,
like oh sorry, we're gonna have to do it tomorrow. Like you guys prepared for this for how long? You had everything already.
yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
telling me no one said you had to do this. You did it. You wanted to do it, and now
yeah,
you can't even handle it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, dude. I know. Stephanie probably watches Love Is Blind. Same with Isis. So I get
I
looped into
can't.
that too.
No, I'm like I'm not watching this, dude. This is so dumb. It's the same thing every single
bro i
time.
tell my bro I tell
It's
myself the
so.
same thing, and I end up getting so invested to where I'm like, this guy, and I call it perfectly, dude. I'm like, this guy's a liar. He's just there to create, just to get the cute girl. He's gonna have all these issues once they get together. It's gonna not work. She's
Well,
gonna say no at the altar.
I'm the one that wants to see the successful couples. I don't care about the drama. I like leave that out. And they always focus on the person that picks two people, one and two, and they end up going with the other one. And then they see the other one after and they're like, oh man, I wish I would have picked you. You were really my number one.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, dude, I don't care. Anyway, what I really would think would be really cool for this tournament, like you were mentioning about like the tee boxes and stuff like that, where they'd be playing, what they'd be doing, changing things up with the game styles. I think it'd be cool to like have playing from the tips, have a round playing from like the whites, literally just like giving them a chance to literally drive everything. See how low they could go. I think that would be so cool. Have like you call it a shootout.
But
Just see
see,
how it'd be so cool because it'd be like
it
a
would.
video
It
game,
would. It would. But see,
like one round. I'm not saying
here's
it
the
all,
thing.
but
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have to be, like multiple rounds. Like the first round is, you know, they go 6-6-6, right? They all play and they switch teams. Then the next day is the pairings, right? So you have two teams against the other team. Then they have the day against the pros. So it's these guys versus the pros. The pros play from the tips. Those
mm-mm.
guys play from, the whites or the blues
Yeah.
plus strokes, right? So, I mean, if you think of it that way, from a strokes perspective, let's just say Lando Norris is a 5, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
technically, depending on the course rating, he could get anywhere from 5 to 6 strokes, depending on, where it's at. But then these guys being plus sixes, they're starting 6 over off the front hole. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like evens things out. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. I think it's super cool.
Well, I mean, like,
Um,
like when I run, here I'm, showboating a little bit. I run my own society on PGA Tour 2K23 called
yeah.
Four Dads Country Club, and I create the tournaments. And it gets boring after a while, just keeping the same thing. First, like I do 3 rounds, not 4 for my tournament. I think I have like 140 people that are part of it now, and I do 3 rounds, and then we have majors that are like 4 rounds. And when I do that, I mix things up. Sometimes some of the majors will have shootouts where I just find these shortest courses, legit, like great courses that are created, but they have like the red tees, and it's like you can drive on like 12 out of the 13 par fours, to see with no wind, to see how low you can go, and you have like crazy at a 4 rounds, you have like people shooting like 100 under. It's just insane, and then you have some that it's like you're playing in like Chicago with very windy, the fast greens, slippery greens and things like that. And I always thought it was fun. One time I did one where I called it like the steps tournament, where you start like the reds, you go to the whites the next day, the blues, and then the tips, just constantly moving it back or moving the other way around just to mess with people. Because when you're playing those, you're like, wait a minute. I played this round because you play all 3 rounds together. You're like, whoa, I just played this one like 10 minutes ago and I was like 40 yards or 50 yards closer. Like, what the heck? So I think that would be really cool where let's have the pros play the reds. Let's have the amateurs play the tips for 1 round. See how that flip it around or just mess around. I mean, like again, they'll probably have more donations than anything than really winning
Yeah.
money, you know. So it's all
Mhm.
for fun. It's all for fun. It's all for TV, and I think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't think it could be anything worse. Like I said, I'm all for more golf, whether it's the match or anything, you know. But I think you had some good ideas with changing up the format to keep it kind of fresh and keep it interesting. But then at the same time, not many people understand golf in general, and you're gonna have them. Oh, you got a 666. You got Wolf. You also got best ball and scramble. And you're like, wait, what the heck is going on? You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, dude. So speaking to like these guys not being professional golfers, right? I was listening to the Random Golf Club's podcast this morning at the gym, and they asked this guy who's like I guess he's like a golf statistic like savant or whatever,
so he's
and they
like
were like,
a what was the guy that we had?
he's like Rain
Uh,
Man. Oh,
no, no, not
um,
him.
the guy from
Lou
Arcos.
Stagner. Lou
Yeah,
Stagner.
Lou.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it was so he was just like that, but they asked him, they're like, what is average golf? And he
Mm.
says, well, the average golf is
Really, 25
100.
over. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's like is 100. He said he goes, only like the 1% can actually break 80. And I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, I was like, I mean, I feel like that's, like that's so high, right? And then he goes and says, you know, in he goes, to be a part of the 1% in the United States from an income source, he's like, you only have to make more than $65,000 a year. And I
What?
was like, yeah, and I was like, wait, no, like, and he goes, no, statistically, you have to make over 65,000 a year. And he goes, and you're part of like the upper echelon at one if you're making 100 grand. And I was like,
Hmm.
wow. I was like, seriously? Like
Well, I mean, you got to
that's
think
just
about where
crazy.
you live as well. Like where you are in the Bay Area is
Right.
probably one of the most expensive places in the country. But you go to like Ohio, you go to the Midwest where the gas is cheaper. You go to the South. A lot of places, obviously, the closer to the coast you get, I feel like it's the more expensive for living for whatever reasons compared to
Yeah.
being more centralized. And like with my family in the Midwest, they're like, "Oh man, we got like $3 a gallon of gas right now," and I'm like, "Oh, it sucks, bro." I
No,
can't
dude.
relate. Oh, like homes are like
Dude.
$100,000 with like two
Yeah.
acres. It's like
Yeah.
it's so
Dude.
different there where we get so used to what we live, and you hear like, wait, how much do you make? And what do you and you have like two cars, and you have and you're only one person's working, and you have a beautiful home with like decked out this or that, and you got a what do they call it? Uh what do they call
A
it? Not a
golf
dungeon.
simulator?
No, not a dungeon. I'm
A
blanking right now.
mansion?
No, down below, underneath their home.
A
Uh,
basement?
Basement. You got a basement. You know, like because in California you don't have basements unless like it's
Yeah.
extremely rare to have a basement. But then again, you have the horrible weather. It's freezing. You have tornadoes. You have all these things that could easily decimate your house.
Well,
And
I was gonna say, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but one of my best friends, um, his mom, is my friend on Facebook, and she posted a picture of their Costco gas,
mm,
right? And I think the mom lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and like the gas was like 2.15.
I'm done.
Yeah, and I was just like, she
What is
goes,
this?
and she
2020?
said, well, and then she sent a picture of what it was in 2020, and it was like less than $1. It was literally like 75 cents for premium. So I was
What?
like, what the heck?
Dude, I
And
haven't
so
seen under 95 cents since like we were like 10 years old and I came out here to baseball tournaments in the valley. It was
no,
like,
dude, I remember I was telling my wife that I remember being in high school, like 2000, 2005 was my freshman year. Yeah, 2005, 2006. My mom was like freaking out because gas was going to get over $1. I just remember every morning she'd be like, "Oh my god, we have to get gas! Like it's going to be $1. Can you believe that?" And I'm
mm,
like, $1? I'm like, now we're paying like not more than 2 weeks ago. This Chevron that's at the corner of where the freeway's at down the street from me, dude.
mhm,
It was 607,
stupid. So
and I
dumb.
live in Sonoma County. San
Hmm.
Francisco was cheaper. San Francisco
Really?
was like 575 at that time.
Well, I always think about places like where you are, or like the mountains, you know, in like Yosemite, or like where we are near the Central Valley, you know, the mountains that are harder to get to. I feel like when it's harder to get to, it
Yeah,
costs
gas is
more.
always going to be more
You know, it'll
expensive.
cost a little bit more expensive.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I always think about that, and I'm like, man, it's bittersweet because obviously we can golf year round, uh, and
yeah,
they can't in the Midwest where they're paying for cheap. I would way rather not be playing on a monitor or a simulator, you know, for like 7 months out
yeah,
of the year, being freezing, just hate getting in my car, worried about snow, tornadoes. But you know, in the summer, it's not terrible. It's not terrible.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember going back to what you said about like the further out you go, the more expensive it is. There's a town called Mendocino that's further north of us, and I remember when gas was just starting to go up, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, these rising gas prices are insane." And dude, Mendocino was like $7 before everything had even gotten to like five,
You guys had
and it
cheap
was
gas? What?
yeah, yeah, it was like all over the news. People were like, "Can you believe this? $7?" And everyone was like, "I'm not slumming that guy says." And then they interviewed the owner, and he's like, "Well, I'm having to pay more because it's so far out of the gas rig's way. I have to pay more
Mhm.
per barrel or per gallon to fill it up." But he's like, "If you don't want to stop here, that's fine. Like the next one isn't for like another 10 miles, so good luck."
Right, right. Yeah,
You
right.
know?
And that's my boy. He's got it 708.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
sorry, you got to
exactly.
pay.
Yeah, that's my boy Rods. He's got
Yeah.
an 801.
We got the monopoly going over here, man. Sorry
Yeah,
about it.
exactly. Exactly.
But let's jump really quickly back into, well, the PGA Tour with this weekend. I know we were talking a lot about Lexi Thompson playing in a PGA Tour event, seventh woman ever to do it. And honestly, I had it on, I think, on Thursday, Friday. No, we did the whenever we did the podcast. I had it on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Following her, I was watching. I was really excited. Sorry, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She didn't make the cut, but the both days that she was playing, I have ESPN Plus, so I was able to watch, and that was obviously one of the groups that they're focused on, right? Following her, and she honestly played pretty well. One thing I didn't realize at the time was, uh, since she's a woman, and you know, in the LPGA, there is no, what is it? What do they call it? A rule on wearing pants? Obviously, right? You could wear skirts, you could wear, you know, skirts or whatever you call it, like capris and things like that. It's not as strict for men. Men have to wear pants in the PGA Tour, and so she was
Mhm.
wearing pants. And obviously, you don't see that all the time because you know the women, they wear different outfits than the men and different rules and things like that. But someone made a note of that, and I was like, I didn't think about that, but she was wearing pants like everyone else. She drove a par four, which was awesome. Obviously, it was like 287 or 290, but still, I mean, like it was a tight, narrow ramp going into the green where it was
Let
like bunkers on the left and right. I mean,
let
it was
let's
impressive.
talk let's talk about that hole. So when we talked about it last week, I told you Summerlin is it's a
It
very
rolls.
it rolls. I don't want to say it's an easy course, but it is a very favorable course, right? And did you see where that ball landed? That ball landed like 40 yards short of the
And it
green,
just ran
and it
right up.
just took up. Yeah, and
Hmm.
that's what I was telling you. It was like it's an advantage for her because she hits the high ball. The wind is always helpful on some of the longer holes there, but also it's warm enough to where your ball goes, and she's known for having like no spin on her ball.
Mm,
So to see where that ball landed, for her to technically hit it maybe 265, 270 carry, and then to see it
yeah.
roll up to like 300, like
Uphill too. It
that.
wasn't downhill or
Yeah,
anything, you know, like,
uphill.
yeah, like
Yeah,
which was,
exactly,
had to have some English
exactly.
on it, but I mean, she ended up shooting even par. She missed the cut by like a stroke or two, but I mean, I think she was. I was literally texting you. I was like, she's even. Oh, she's one over now. She's two over. And then I think it was Friday. She shot two under, and it was
Uh-huh.
impressive. I mean, like she held her
Yeah,
own. I remember my question was like, will she go under? Will she be under par or over par? And she was even. And I mean, it was impressive to watch because
yeah,
I mean, women can do it. I mean, it's just more difficult for them unless you're a bigger, taller woman. And she is. I think she's what, like 6 foot, right? So like
yep,
with her height, because like what is it? The average height for a man is what, like 5'8", 5'9", and the average for a woman is like 5'2", 5'3".
I guess.
I mean, I know it for a man for sure. It's about like 5'8", 5'9".
I've
Uh,
only seen 6'2" my whole life, so I don't
I
know.
don't know about you peasants under six
Yeah,
feet. But yeah, no. So like, just that whole thing is, and playing from such a farther distance than what she's used to or accustomed to. I'm sure she's played from the tips many times, but I feel like you have the tips, and then you have the PGA Tour tees, that are especially farther back to make it, crazy. What do you think?
dude. I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I mean, I kind of knew she was going to do really well. I was hoping for her to finish under.
Yeah,
Obviously, just due to a few holes that it just didn't pan out that way. But she held her own. I mean, she
yeah,
played really well. Um, I kind of was, already on her side from our discussion. I was like, yeah, she's going to do great.
yeah. I was
Um,
pulling for it, man. I
but
was stoked. I was really entertained watching it because like
yeah,
it was like for a PGA Tour event, it's like TBC 7 that like no one really cares about because I forget even who won. I mean, obviously that wasn't even the main thing
I
that
don't
people took it
remember
from
who
it.
won.
I know
Yeah,
Cam Champ was in the running for it, but that was what I was excited for. I was rooting for. I was like, this is awesome. Like go for like make the cut. I was like, make the cut. That'd be so awesome to make the cut.
you, you
You know.
know, this is a little sidebar here, but it just dawned on me what hat you're wearing, and it's so funny that you're wearing that hat because I was like, you know what? I know we lost, but I feel like I should hold my own and wear like my Niners hat or wear a Niners jersey.
I was
And I
wondering, you didn't
wanted,
even say anything.
I
I
know,
was like,
I was,
it's orange, it sticks out.
yeah, I just realized it, but I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't want to get my McCaffrey jersey because he's hurt. I don't know if he's going to be back. I don't want to wear my Kittle jersey because he did nothing for me this weekend. And I was like, I definitely don't want to wear my Bosa jersey because he was the one who was talking the most shit and like,
Ugh,
I don't know. I was just like,
that
that
was
that didn't.
insane. That was great. That was a crazy game.
It was a good game, and I
Yeah,
was impressed. I was impressed by the quarterback Walker. I know he
same
came
here.
from I know he came from the XFL, right?
A few years ago, he played in the XFL. Then he played for the
Yeah,
Panthers last year a little bit. So he's the only one with
yeah,
actual experience on our team. The only chance we had. That was it.
yeah. He. I mean,
He held
dude,
his own.
he could let the
Yeah.
ball fly. I mean, some of those
Mhm.
passes he threw to Amari Cooper, who I had
Who
no
made some
idea was even.
insane catches.
I had no idea he was even on your guys' team.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, he's been on there since
I
last
had,
year. Dude, we got
I
him for
had
a
no
6th round
idea.
pick. We got him from a 6th round pick from the Dallas freaking morons. Now they're playing with CD Lamb and barely beating teams.
Well, did you see? I don't know if this was true, but I saw that CB Lamb and Dak Prescott were on the trade block.
That would be
It might
really.
it might have been a meme. I'm not sure,
It
but
had to have been because, like, dude, they have no one. There's no backup. Who are they going to play?
what do
Cooper
you
Rush,
mean,
start
dude?
Cooper Rush with freaking
They got Trey
Gallup.
Lance.
Hmm.
They got Trey Lance, man.
I forgot. I honestly forgot about him. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't flushed that from your memory already.
Bro, the minute that we drafted him, I was like, me and my dad literally had like an hour conversation. I'm like, what are they doing? If that's what they want, just go get Colin Kaepernick. At least we can get him for pennies on the dollar.
But I mean,
You
like,
know?
I was just like, he hadn't played in a year, and he played at North Dakota State. Nothing against North Dakota State, but you haven't played in a
No,
year,
there's
and
a
then you're
lot
going to
against
an
North Dakota
NFL.
State. There's a
No, dude, I
lot
mean
against North
they had
Dakota
Wentz
State.
that was number two that was there, but I mean the fact they didn't play for a year, like Colin Kaepernick's trying to come back to the NFL after not playing for like 9 years, saying, "Oh, I'm ready to go." Like, dude, stop, give it up. There's no chance. Marshawn Lynch, the best running back in the NFL, retired for half a year, came back to play for the Raiders, and it took him about 9 to 10 games to actually look like an NFL running back. And he was working out. And they say that's the easiest position to play in the NFL. One of the easiest. One of the. Quarterback is so hard. You got to have it here. You got to have it muscle. You got to have you got to know everything. Like there's no way.
No, I mean, you gotta give it up. You gotta give Colin at least this. The kid's got an arm like no one's ever seen since Jamarcus Russell, who turned out to be the biggest bust of the NFL ever.
Terrible example, except for the arm, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the only person I can think of that has that kind of arm strength. I mean, dude, he throws the ball 67 miles an hour, like, out of his hand. I mean,
Giving people concussions, huh? Just do.
pretty much. I mean, that's what he did to Antoine Bolden. Like, freaking ball goes right between his hands and smacks him in the face, and you see Antoine Bolden's head just slip back. But I mean, still, that's something that just can't be taught. And with his height, with his his length,
His
like
athleticism, he was a stud back then, man.
yeah, he held his own. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing was too is just like there's a thing that shot him in the foot is just there's a time and place. Like, and even now, like the fact that he's still talking about that is like, dude, the NFL teams just don't want that. Like,
Right? Yeah.
it's
No,
over and
thank
done
you.
with.
Yeah.
Floyd's already gone. It's
Turn the
it's over and
page.
done with. Yeah, move
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Stop being an I guy and be a we.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the
Right.
team, what value you're going to bring the team. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so funny how the number one meme whenever a quarterback goes down is, oh, the Jets are looking at calling.
Yeah, right. Oh, it never gets old, man. It never
It
gets
doesn't.
old.
It doesn't. It's
Oh,
such a
that's
good one.
classic. Dude, but did you by any chance watch any of the live of this weekend? Because I get it because I
No.
was I was looking I was trying to watch it and I was able to watch some of the highlights from YouTube later, but like it was in I think Saudi Arabia. It was in Jeddah, which I believe is somewhere in the Middle East. Maybe not Saudi Arabia,
Is
but
that Volkswagen?
no, Jeddah. Close. Not Jeddah, Jeddah. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
in Saudi Arabia.
it was like in the middle of the night for us,
Wow,
which sucks.
it's actually a really nice
Dude, the course was
dude.
gorgeous. The
Dude,
course was so
yeah,
gorgeous.
it's right off like one of the main expressways.
Probably,
It
yeah, it
was
was. It was.
beautiful.
I did see that, but like,
God
so
damn, it's 95 degrees over there.
right, right. Why do you think they had to
It would
play
take
the?
me it would take me a day and it would take me one whole day and 30 hours to get there from Santa Rosa.
If you drove,
No, if I flew.
I know how fast you have to go. Anyway, but about live, dude. Like, so apparently Brooks Koepka won the tournament. He had a 2-hole playoff match with Taylor Gooch to win that tournament. And Taylor Gooch, I was watching the highlights. And he was down like 5 or 6 shots when the day started and just roared back to tie it up. Played Brooks. They went back and forth with a few holes and ended up winning out, which I forget what the purse was for that, probably 4 to 5 million, like the rest of their tournaments. But no matter what, I guess, which I think is kind of dumb. Apparently, Taylor Gooch already locked up the number one, like winning the individual for the whole season, which I
Yeah,
thought
the
that
overall, right?
the overall one, right? But you would think that it would like work like the FedEx Cup where you get, help or something, and then you have to win the final tournament to do it, like to prove it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I kind of expected when I saw Brooks Koepka won, but Taylor Gooch won the individual. I'm like, it's an individual tournament. How did this even happen? But they were saying the insane numbers of Taylor Gooch. So apparently, Taylor Gooch made 123 starts on the PGA Tour and picked up one win and earned just under $10 million, $9,250,000. And
Wow.
with his win of the individual, season award from Live, he won $18 million, nearly doubling that in one freaking season. Like, how insane is that? Like, there's no reason. I'm sure, like, dude, if I had that much money, I probably would not be on social media. Like,
Why?
there's no. Well, especially for golf. Let's just talk mainly golf situations where you're talking about the live and all the PGA Tour loyalists are like, oh, you only live for money.
Who
Yeah,
cares? I would be like, yeah,
exactly.
if you were presented with the same thing, you would 9 out of 10 times too.
You'd be the
Like,
only guy who without a burner, be using your actual account, be like, "F you, bro. I don't care."
yeah,
Yeah, what? You wouldn't.
yeah,
You wouldn't for your family. Are you kidding me? You want to go, bro? Was
yeah.
that guy
I
with
was
the
like
shirt
that.
taken off? The guy taking off his shirt.
Oh yeah.
Such
Dude,
a
no, I
great
was gonna
meme.
say it is. It's a really good meme. Well, no, that's like that video that I sent you with Max Homa roasting Leonardo DiCaprio, where
Oh,
he goes,
right.
I could tell Leonardo DiCaprio to hold my drink, but if I ask his girlfriend, I might get her arrested because she's
Yeah,
underage.
that was
And what's so
bad.
funny is like he literally asked him too. He tagged him in the thing. It was like, Max Homa, give me your best.
Oh
And
man.
Max Homa comes back with that. It was just like, dude, that's so good. But I mean, look, you and I have had a lot of conversations around live, and was it the right move? Is it the right thing? How is
Mhm.
it changing golf, dude? The one thing that sticks out to me the most is the PGA Tour, and you hear it from every player. I mean, I think Phil said it best. It's a grind. It is a literal grind for everyone. And no matter how
Yeah.
popular you are, no matter how good you do, the PGA never took care of you. It was basically like for an example, like I'll put it into real terms for that everybody and every father can understand. My last job, I was the top dude. I was generating $7.5 million of new revenue for the company year over year. And I still got let go. Like, I did all the work. I'm your top producer. I'm the golden boy. I did
Mm-hmm.
everything. I was
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
mean, I followed the corporate ladder to the T. I was super cordial with every single person, even though I didn't even know half the people because we worked remote. But I
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
there from the beginning. I paid my dues. I started, from the bottom, made my way to the top, and I still got the boot. The PGA is like that. It's like you come in, you just worked your ass off getting through the NCAA, right, to become one of the
Mm-hmm.
top players, to qualify
Yep.
for an opportunity to get into an amateur tournament that then you go and you place through the weekend, you finish in the top 25, you have some great rankings, but you still can't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yep.
put all
Yep.
this money, then you go into the corn, or then you go and try and get your card to become a pro and get a ticket to the Corn Ferry.
Mm-hmm.
You finally get to the Corn Ferry. You don't get any back pay for getting there to now to where now you're a professional.
Mm-hmm.
You try and place, within the weekend to try and finish even. Not happening. So now you go three weekends where you don't have any income. You've spent more than what you did on your entire college degree. You're sleeping with 5 other people inside of a Motel 6 just so you can prepare for your next tournament. Finally, get onto the tour. Nothing is guaranteed. It's just like, it's the harsh
Yep.
reality of life, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
like, much like what we said, the PGA is one of those professional organizations that doesn't give you any guaranteed
Money.
contract money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a lot of these guys who have earned, again, who have earned the recognition, who have earned themselves the names that they have, they bring the people to these PGA events because they want to see Brooks Koepka, they want to see Tiger Woods, they want to
Mm-hmm.
see Rory, they want to see Cam Smith, they want to see all these guys.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm so popular. I do so well. I still am not making anything unless I finish within the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get freaking 60 million to $250 million cash up front
Without even playing a tournament. Without
without
even
even
playing a
playing a
tournament,
tournament,
which you can earn more.
sign
Yeah.
sign me up. I
To
mean, to
play
hear
less.
number
Mm-hmm.
like to hear numbers around like Tiger and Rory being somewhere around $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you understand the difference between $1 million and $1 billion?
A
Like,
thousand, right? 1,000, or is it
dude,
100,000?
it's I think it's a
100 times.
100,000.
100 times. What I'm
Yeah,
saying. That's what I mean.
it's insane. Like, and you're talking cash. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not like how they do it here in the U.S. where it's like, okay, well, we'll give you all this, but then we're going to take 30% for that. We're going to take the
Right. Right.
capital
Right.
gain tax. We're going to take this. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
literally like, here you go,
Yeah.
have fun. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
now
Oh
your
yeah. Oh
financial
yeah.
advisor is like, now your financial advisor is like, I don't even know what to do with all this.
Well, I'm gonna go take a vacation for like 2 years, and I'll be back. Like, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna go
like,
find I'm gonna go find you an island in the Bahamas, and I'm just gonna buy like a bunker, and we're gonna call that your bank.
yeah, dude. Like, it just it is insane. And like you mentioned, like I was just thinking while you were going over like the grind of the Corn Ferry, the college, and all that. Imagine being part of that grind before Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods, because you know how much less the players made on the PGA Tour, in the majors, in the top tournaments before Tiger Woods even played. Like, let's say he's just like a middle schooler. No one, like, you might have heard of him, but like, you're not making money. But of course, as soon as Tiger Woods came, the crowd started flocking. Way more people started finding, like, becoming more interested in golf. The purses shot up. People have said that they've never seen purses shoot up like they ever have with Tiger because of how many people they get, how much more exposure they got, and it's the Tiger Woods effect. And you're like, imagine doing that before the Tiger Woods effect. with no guarantees of even making a decent living of being one of the
So
best golfers. You know,
so check
it's
this out.
insane.
So it's funny. It's funny that we're talking about this because it's literally one of the top questions asked on Google about how much of an impact did Tiger Woods bring to the
I'm sure.
PGA.
Yeah.
So the year before Tiger arrived, or I'm sorry, 10 years before Tiger Woods arrived on tour,
Hmm.
Greg Norman was the tour leading money winner with a
Oh boy.
total of $653,296.
Wow.
Okay. And then it says
Wow.
and then it says 2005, Tiger Woods arrives on the PGA Tour leading the money winner as Woods himself earning as recorded all 10 million or 10.6 million. The 130th ranked player on the money list, which was Michael Allen at the time, only earned $591,828.
Dang. So that's what, like 20 times, about 10 to 20 times, maybe about 15, 20 times as much
Yeah,
from that gap.
and
And then you add to it now with the PGA
well,
Tour,
and no one talks about this, but I
the
think
live
it was like
effect.
two. I think it was 2007, 2006, or something like that. Tiger was then one of the first PGA players to ever record $1 billion in earnings.
I do remember hearing something about that, which is
Yeah.
insane because that also counts the sponsorships and stuff like that. But still,
Think
for a
about Michael
golfer,
Jordan in '95. Think about
and
Jordan in '95.
he owned part of the shoe sales of Jordan. You know, like if you've
Yeah.
seen the movie Air or Jordan or whatever the movie's
Yeah.
called with Ben Affleck, like he bought it, he got the shares, he got all partial things of the sales, and he's raking up all this money, which is crazy that he didn't even get $1 billion now, but I think he gets about $1 billion every year now because of the shoes alone, which
Yeah.
is insane. But it's
So I
now
read a
there's a live
statistic.
effect. Now there's a live effect
Yeah.
too. You know, like we talked about many moons ago. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, you're on the right path. But I was gonna say, like, even now, there's a statistic that came out that was saying every time that Jordan drops a new color wave within one of his shoes, he makes like 100 million, like every 2 days, or something like that.
No wonder he's a degenerate and gambles all the time on the golf course. He could like, I got a new colorway coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got it in the bag. Don't
Yeah.
worry. It's freaking insane, man.
It is.
Uh,
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy that it's like that. But I mean, the live effect, was
it's not as big as Tiger, but it's still it proved that the PGA Tour was holding money that they could have used to benefit the players, and they were called out on their bluff that they didn't have the money, at least in my opinion. And boom, you had the money. Why didn't you do it in the beginning? Like, what are we doing? You know you
yeah,
have it. Now you have less players, and you're probably not going to make as much because the players aren't going to be playing all the tournaments. The majors are really the only thing. Like I'm still going strong against the keyboard warriors that are the PGA Tour loyalists on Facebook. Oh, it's not a tour. Liv's not a tour. The whole Bryson DeChambeau comment where he thinks the top 12 live players should earn a shot at the majors if they don't qualify already. Oh, it's not a real tournament. Oh no, they're not worth it. Oh, they shouldn't have taken the money, bro. It's like, dude, why would you not want the best players playing in the majors? Oh, well, it's not competitive golf. Watch the freaking tournaments. Yes, they are very competitive. There might not be as many fans at the tournaments, not all of them, like at the Jeddah. There was literally like, it didn't seem like there was many out there. Like you said, it was 95 degrees
yeah.
outside, and you're also in Saudi Arabia, where not them in a place that people probably don't want to attend right now with everything that's going down and the whole Palestine-Israeli issue that's been going on in the Middle East. But like,
No, I want to be out there.
no. I mean, like, just think about it.
No,
I
I
mean,
know, I know, I know. I'm just kidding.
it's something where it's just like, dude, like, why would you not want the best? That they're just fanboys, and I'm like, all these guys are so old too. I click on their profile pictures, dude's so old, and I'm like, come on, dude. You tell me you don't remember Jack Nicklaus leaving the PGA Tour of America to create the PGA Tour? You were there. You were saying the same
Who
exact
else?
crap for that.
Yeah, but
Now you
I
draw the
mean,
line.
yeah, but I mean, here's my question: who else is gonna, talk about it? Not the millennials, not the Gen Zs. Like, they
Nope.
don't freaking
Mm-mm.
care.
No,
You
it's
know,
more golf. It's more golf. It's competitive. I'm happy
yeah.
for it. I like we always mentioned, especially in the beginning of the podcast, because I know that was not during the height of Live when that whole thing started. But it's like, dude, at the end of the day, it's better for them and their families. Like, who are you to say with your dumb opinion where you're making peasant money? Like, come on, man.
But again, the question again is, if you were presented with that same opportunity with what you do,
What do you think about it?
yeah, well, like, I mean, everyone, like, you guys have been really taking action on the questions we've been asking. Like, if your company came to you saying, "Hey, we are going to pay you 10 times your salary to do less work for a day less hours, but we just want to see results."
I would just
Would
say,
you take that?
I need it in writing. Yes, I will do it in a hand, and I need to
What's the
make sure.
catch?
Yeah, exactly. I need it in writing. I need to talk to my lawyer that I don't have,
Yeah.
but just to make sure that there's nothing behind this that's gonna screw me over. But heck yeah, like who wouldn't?
Yeah.
It's
I
common
mean,
sense.
it is. It is. I mean, Dustin Johnson said it best in, full swing.
Mm-hmm.
Same with
Yep.
Paulina, which is like, he had to be at every tournament, even though he knew he wasn't going to be competitive. He knew
Mm-hmm.
he probably wasn't going to play his best because he just wasn't feeling his best. And
Yeah.
TaylorMade was like, we just need you to show up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we'll pay you, but you need to show up. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's money out of his pocket. He may only be finishing even,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how much TaylorMade was giving him. It was like, it did it really equal what
And the
you ultimately
tournaments aren't
wanted?
near him always, right? Let's just say he lived in,
No.
let's say South Carolina. I think he played at East Carolina. Let's just say at North Carolina he lives. It's called a tour. So you could be playing in California, you could be playing in Ohio, you could be playing in Florida, you could be playing in Washington. Like, it's so far away that it's not just like, oh, a couple hour drive, and it's not a 1 day event. It's pretty much a week. You probably show up on a Tuesday, get a couple practice rounds in for that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Sooner than that, because
but
it's got to be sooner than that. It's got to be like the weekend before, and they get comfortable.
right.
If they're depending on how far it is, right? You want to make
Mm-hmm.
it for the jet lag,
Yep.
like, again, and then they always change up the course. They said that even though it may be like 5 paces off, they may change it to like six
Mm-hmm.
paces off the left side of the fringe,
Hmm.
you know. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Well.
yeah, man. I mean, there's just a lot. It's crazy. But again, like, Liv came in aggressive and they had the money and they were like, "We'll pay you. Just show
Mm-hmm.
up and give us your best. We'll
Yeah.
we'll make sure we take care of you, but we just want you to have fun." And that's like the craziest thing is, like, when you talk about the cultures, right? I mean, again, relating it to corporate cultures are so important. You see people talking about how it's like, it's so tough, expectations are unrealistic. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you have investors, you have a board, you have all these people that you need to satisfy. But Live is like, look, man, you're one of the best golfers in the world. We want you to come over, do what you've been doing since you were 5 years old or 13 years old. Just give it your best, for 3 days. If you
Mm-hmm.
win, great. You're going to fill your pockets. If you don't worry. You're still going to finish even.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, don't worry.
Exactly. No, I agree. I mean, I think that's a good spot to wrap up this podcast. But before I do want to throw it out there that the next podcast that we have, Julio and I will be rocking our newest Four Dads hats. They should be coming within the next day or so. I cannot wait to see these guys. They are so sick. We're going to show you all the little tidbits on them. We got cool little colorways, four colorways coming around, and they look so sweet. They got our saying, they got our little podcast on the side. And it's a little different look than the current ones that we got, but something to look forward to within the next podcast. Hopefully, I'll be able to ship them and he'll be able to get them by that day, Wednesday, if we do the podcast on the Wednesday. But again, thank you guys for all the support and watching us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We're at about 120 followers now on YouTube, so we're starting to
Nice.
trek our way up there. But if you guys are interested in a hat, again, we wear them next week. I already got a few friends that are interested in the hats. Definitely let us know. We're selling them right out of our trunk, pretty much. But enjoy your guys' rest of the week and stay fly and go low.